they are still in the hunt, and their supporters bravely in this weather have travelled across here to cheer them, they hope, to victory. And the girls as well, they are soaked to the skin, the cheerleaders, but they maintain a smile on their faces. Well, between them, the Bulls and the Saints won 8 of the first Super League titles, 6 from grand finals, the opening 2 under the old first past the points system, and they also went head-to-head in 3 Challenge Cup finals. But as Saints leave the dressing room for the rain and the wind of Odsal, there are some players there who are backing up after Friday, and we've seen the effect that has had on the teams in Super League already today. This could be Bradford's big chance. They will know, Steve-O, these men in white, that tonight is the night if they're going to beat Saints.
Great opportunity, as you say, and the Bulls will be fully aware of the fact that St. Helens, especially in the forwards, with the players backing up there, and it is going to be a forwards day without any doubt. It is very, very heavy out there on the ground. We saw them just limbering up and just going through a few exercises, and they were cutting up the turf just whilst they were just warming up. So it'll be slippery conditions. It's going to be solid, hard work that will win you the spoils tonight.
Well, the Bradford Bulls at Odsal, they still have the big build-up, despite the fact the rain is sheeting down, and St Helens have been out there for about 2 or 3 minutes. The Bull man leads the way, and through the smoke comes Andy Lynch and the Bradford Bulls. There is a revival happening here, 2 straight wins. They find themselves on the verge of a playoff place. Usually when it's dry, there are 5-figure crowds coming back to this ground. And their marketing, of course, in this part of the world has always been absolutely first class. Now, they beat St Helens 34-30 at Knowsley Road in April 2009. The Bradford Bulls last celebrated a home win against Saints in July 2007 when they won by 10 points to 4. Paul Deacon was the hero of the hour then. His kicking was decisive. James Child is the match official. It's Bradford in all white against grey for Saints. Grey on the pitch and grey up above. And, well, we'll see how it all pans out, because the wind is at the back of the Saints. And it's going to be Patrick Arvan who will get this game underway. Here we go. This is Bradford Bulls' chance, you feel, against a St Helens side with certain players and some key individuals. They must be fatigued.
Yeah, and I suppose St Helens, the coach Roy Simmons, will say that we need points on the board because he knows that a lot of his players will tire. It's going to be really, really solid work in the forwards, and they've got to make a real mark on it. And that means that Bradford Bulls, their defence, has got to be really tip-top in the opening 15 minutes.
First 2 drives from St Helens players who were involved on Friday, and John Wilkin with the first kick. He too was involved. It was Graham Pulatua and then Wilkin. And it is a ball that will skim and skip on this very, very wet surface, and it's gone dead. And Bradford will start from their own 20-metre line. Rayner is back after a 2-match suspension. And
you can see straight away that St Helens, the tactics will be utilising that very, very strong wind.
It was interesting to watch both sides in the warm-up before this game commenced, and both coaches had their players practicing diving on a loose skimming ball on the floor. I suspect that both anticipate there will be some ball spilt here in the tackle with the conditions and the ferocity of the tackling, so it is important to retain possession, and I think that's the reason why we saw both sides kicking early to start this game. They're not bothered about holding it for the 6 players that rugby league gives you. They just want to be as close to opponent's line as possible.
Foster has a lot of work to do. There's a fantastic chase.
Super stuff there. The kick into the corner, apply the pressure. It's going to be very difficult. They wound up for this one on the Bradford side. You can see that.
Makinson just couldn't get out of trouble.
He's changed his game, Oliver Alima. Looking in the notes from last week, he made 35 tackles against the Quins. He's normally been big and strong previously in his career. He's been a real threat and a danger, but defensively, he's having to work a lot for the Bradford side.
Oh, it's a tremendous break here from John Wilkin. He's looking for support. He takes the tackle. Lomax was coming up on his right shoulder. Roby, who plays on despite the fact that he's got that chip bone in his cheek. Gets the ball away to Lomax, who brushes one off. Pops it up then to the captain, Paul Wellens. Wellens gets Saints over the halfway line.
He had the opportunity. Wilkin made the break. It was a good tackle in the end by the fullback, Brett Kearney. It had to be as well.
Gaskell with the kick downfield, hits the post, comes back to Carney. Good chase from St Helens. Enthusiastic. Two men who were involved on either side on Friday. Sia Soliola and Michael Shenton. And Soliola involved again, that time with Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook.
That's all they need to do in this first 40 minutes is the visitors, St Helens, just keep that ball, turn the Bradford side around and reduce the amount of effort and work that they're going to have to do in defence. But that's good work by Bradford, getting over the advantage.
Diskin at dummy half on this, the last tackle. The ball is shuttled in field to Jeffries, who doesn't get a particularly good kick away. It lands at Jamie Foster's feet, but there's a very good chase there, led by Jamie Langley for Bradford. It's a war of attrition, really, on a day like this. We've almost turned back the clock, Steve-O. This is like a winter's afternoon at Oxford.
It certainly is, yeah, and it's a little bit chilly. Not that it'll affect them out there, but the wet ground certainly will. It's up the jumper time, really, and oh, that's an amazing thing for Roby to be looking for a pass. Nearly a break there by Kyle Eastman.
Yes, Kyle Eastman playing today, only his 8th start of the year so far, operating in the centres, because this fellow Lomax is having a tremendous season at scrum half. That is Pulatua. Roby is there again. Bullets that pass back to Lomax. That will catch the wind. And it bounces harmlessly over the dead ball line. Quickly down to Bill, who I hope is dry.
No way, Eddie, and it's only going to get worse. But we think this is tough. Just a quick word for Steve Prescott and his fellow challenge completers, shall we say, who've just this evening got to John of Groats, having ridden from Land's End to John of Groats over the last week or so, to raise money for the Steve Prescott Foundation, for the Rugby League Benevolent Fund. Neil Harmon, ex-Bulls, John Neal, ex-Saints out there, Steve Hall involved as well, plus 11 supporters have done the journey. It's been an epic effort, and they've just, as I said, got to John O'Groats this evening. As well as completing 1,024 miles, they've also managed to climb the 3 peaks on the way. That is a challenge.
Yeah, well done to Steve Prescott and the boys, fantastic. This is Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook.
Oh, he pinched him.
Oh, stolen, penalty.
Yeah. He thought he was on his own, but he had an additional player at the side of him. Yeah, you could see there that they'd made contact. Craig Kopchak had joined in the fray.
First penalty of the match. What an effort from Steve Prescott, though. He never stops, does he?
Well, I think anybody who wants to support that should, if they have the opportunity to go on the World Wide Web, click on Steve Prescott searching mode, and you could make a contribution. Follow what they've done on their Steve Prescott website and contribute if you possibly can.
And if we're looking for a torchbearer for the Olympics in 2012, surely Steve Prescott has got to be top of the list, hasn't he?
He's right up there, Ed. He's a tremendous ambassador, and everything that he does that's peripheral to rugby league, looking after the less fortunate, surely puts him right at the top of that list. Great bloke.
And this is a great chance for Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook, and he's over the line, fed by James Roby. 4th start in a row for this England prop forward, Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. His 4th try of the campaign, coming on the back of a penalty for St Helens. He didn't make the Exiles match on Friday, despite being in the elite training squad that Steve McNamara named earlier in the year. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook comes up with the first try. Saints have the lead.
And not surprisingly, the short little pass by the hooker, James Roby. He knew he had the momentum to get over. Not the best defensive effort, though, and this is the build-up where they get the penalty. And you could see quite clearly that Andy Lynch, along with Kopchak, was being penalised, and then Roby, you can't afford to allow him to run like that. And the big fella, Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Look how they stood back. Not the best from Langley. Can't afford to give that man, James Roby, any room to move.
4th try for Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Jamie Foster is almost in front of the posts. Big wind at his back. No problem, 6 points to 0. The Saints are ahead here at Odsal.
Do you know what? I know the referee did well to see through the driving rain in his eyes here, but frame by frame, I wonder whether Lynch steals the ball just before contact's made by any of the defenders. Bit unlucky. You do need your luck when you play against St Helens. Now he gets the ball out, I think, just before Kopchak's shoulder makes contact. It counts for nothing, and they're 6 points behind, but...
Well, you can understand why James Child gave the penalty, looking at that.
Yeah, it was difficult for the official, and
two other players were involved.
Yeah, not only that, he doesn't have the advantage of the slow motion replay either. But they won't be worrying about that. Saints, the tactics of this ball downfield, trying to get into a good position.
It was a good point that you made, Steve-O. They need a good start. Saints players will tire, especially in the forwards. Soliola, Wilkin, Polatua, James Graham all played on Friday night. When you see Bradford with the ball, they're keeping things very tight, hoping to tire that middle up a little bit quicker than they would like, the Saints side.
I think we've got to be careful with the sympathy we've got for St Helens and the players you might tire. They've got, is it a
40-20 here from
wow,
Gaskell.
What a kick. What a great piece of skill. His kicking is fantastic. Really is. The dangerous ones. He's put that one in, made it look easy.
2 in 2 weeks. He got a great 40-20 against the Leeds Rhinos last week. He's got the wind behind his back, to be fair. And the pitch is really, really greasy, but it still needs a degree of skill.
Yeah, he's a talent, isn't he? Really has got great talent, and not just for this kicking game. His ability to combine in the halfback combination with Johnny Lomax has been a real highlight over the past few weeks.
Well, I'm sure the clamour will continue for Gaskell and Lomax for England as this season progresses.
Just going to make the point about St Helens. They come to the short side here with Eastman. Well,
and Eastman bounces off one, and I think the momentum's taken him home here. I think he was slid over the line then by the Bradford Bulls defender.
I think you're right, Eddie.
Incredible. Kyle Eastman, only his 8th start of the year, only his 10th appearance in all. He got a try in a 62-12 win at Knowsley Road last year. Has he got another one here?
Well, he just slides over, yeah. Has he got it down?
He wasn't going to put it down, was he, until he felt the slide. He gets to this point here and thinks, I'm going to put it over the line. Does he lose it?
I think he's lost that. I don't think he's got control. I don't think you can say that he's controlled the ball with his elbow.
Has Carney stolen it then from underneath him?
It's going to be difficult for the video referee Ian Smith, but I think he might turn this down. Well, it looked to have been stopped, and it just gives you some indication of how slippery. I think he's lost that.
He's got hold of it underneath, though.
I think the benefit you'd have to give to the attacking player, I agree that I think his left hand catches it, if anything, Steve, underneath him, and grounds it. Puts downward pressure on the ball, on the line, that's a try.
Well, we'll wait and see. Ian Smith is a man.
It's definitely Eastman's hand that's underneath the ball there.
I'll go no try.
Ian Smith, his decision is the same as yours. I don't think Roy Simmons agrees with that.
I think John Wells might show us at half-time, Eddie, just about the defence. A lot of teams decide to actually only have one defender against the centre and winger. He'll show us as we get to half-time. Pay a notice of that. I'm not so sure it's the right policy now. They actually put more defenders on the open side, thinking that will cover the longer players, but they offered the space to St Helens, and Eastman almost took it.
Well, that was a big moment in this match, because if Saints had gone 12-0 up, it could have been a crucial time.
Certainly would, as I said, and we really knew that St Helens would have to get into a good start, but give them a lot of credit in the fact that they did that wonderful short blindside move at the scrum base. They've done it quite a few times this season, and that nearly came off.
Here's Andy Lynch now for Bradford. Lynch really is one of the great survivors, and he does set the lead for the Bradford Bulls.
I think they've been a better side as well since you know, the selection of Ben Jeffries cemented the combination with the halfback Mark Herbert. That's a great kick.
It's a high kick. Oh, it's stolen by Carney! He picked the ball straight out of Paul Welland's arms there. And I think in the last 3 or 4 minutes we might have seen a 12-point turnaround. Could have been 12-0 at the other end. It's going to be 6-all in a moment. And Brett Carney, he's been out for the last 7 with a broken hand. He came flying forward for that towering bomb from Mark Herbert. Wellens was underneath it, and Carney just leapt above him and plonked the ball down. First match in 7, second try of the season for him, and the Bulls are level in a moment.
Wonderful high kick from Herbert. utilises the strong wind, so that means that it just hangs there. And it's very rare you see that. Paul Wellens, you'd bet your house on Wellens grabbing this, but full credit there to Carney, the fullback. It's mine. Skins him. They're back in the game. I'm with you, Eddie. It could have been 12-0. Try turned down, and within the space of a minute, the fullback from Bradford gets the Bulls back into this game.
Well, you need the bounce of the ball to go your way. Or probably more appropriately in rugby league now, you need the video referee's decision to bounce in your favour, and Bradford had that. Talk about the Bulls players as we see that kick go over by Patrick Arvan. I think the most important Bradford Bull is Jamie Langley. You know, he was injured when they played away at St Helens in March, and the Bulls, in his absence, won 1 of the next 7 Super League games. You know what? He is so important to them, and I think if his form continues as we see here, this is a 12-point turnaround. Eastman held and denied just short of the try line. Roy Simmons a little disappointed, but gotta live with that. And here's Carney now scoring at the other end. Can the Bulls capitalise on that?
Well, if Roy Simmons was disappointed with the... That's a knock-on. He lost that. He lost that.
Well, it certainly bobbled, didn't it?
Well, if Roy Simmons is unhappy with the video referee's decision, he won't be happy with the fact that his team have conceded a try, and I don't think he'd be too happy with that one being allowed to go as well. 6 apiece. 12 and a half gone, and it's the Bulls who are in possession here. Patrick Arvan playing in the centres today for the Bradford Bulls. He's averaging 9 points a game this season. This is Andy Lynch. Andy Lynch will have a very good memory because he's one of the survivors of the last home win against Saints in 2007. Kick downfield into the wind, but skips away. Wellens picks it up but has to avoid the posts, and he can't avoid the 3 on-rushing Bradford Bulls.
I've got to say, they're playing into the wind. You know, the Bulls are utilising the kicking game very, very cleverly indeed. And as we've seen on 2 occasions, the chase is solid.
And it's not a swirling wind, Steve-O. The wind is completely and utterly at the back of the Saints, as we can see from the flags that are flying over on the other side of the field, on top of the main stand. That wind right at St Helens' backs.
40.
Another attempt at a 40-20 here. Carney sees to it that it does not find it.
Good position by the fullback as well. Got caught out before from the wonderful kick by Gaskell.
We've just seen Jason Crooks from the ball, Eddie. I'm fascinated to see how he does on the right wing for Bradford. Made his debut for them 2 years ago. Only played in 5 games, and I'm interested to see what he's got to offer. He used to play centre. Saw him play for the Yorkshire Academy side in the centre position a couple of years back at Leeds, and was fantastic. Got off the radar a little bit. I know he's been out on loan. Let's see what he can offer here at the highest level.
Yeah, he's just back from a loan spell with the Sheffield Eagles. He's played 3 in a row on the wing prior to today. Jeffries infield it goes again. Mark Herbert gets the Bulls over halfway, but that is the last tackle, this set of 6. And Jeffries on the outside of the boot.
It's an awkward one as well.
It was awkward, and I'll tell you what, it might have been raining here all day. The pitch might be cutting up, but it's a very solid surface. And the ball isn't just thudding into a pudding, is it? It's bouncing.
No, Mick Potter will be very, very happy with the way that they've started. Okay, they conceded the try. They got back with a high kick from Herbert.
Jamie, hold.
And Carney pinched the pocket of the fullback Paul Wellens, but this is where the Saints have got to try to share the workload, because we keep saying it, Eddie, but they've got a penalty.
And you put that all back to James Roby, don't you? His run from acting half-back got them some metres, got a quick play the ball. Shenton went on with it, and the markers attempted to get involved here, and he says they shouldn't. It's Whitehead, is it? And Elmer penalised for not being in position when the ball was played.
Just a word about James Roby. I mean, people will question the fact that he's out here anyway, but as I said to Barry at the start of the match, the Rugby Football League are absolutely clear, crystal clear, that he is perfectly entitled to play in this match. But how many other sportsman would play with a chipped bone in an eye socket in a game as tough as this. Here he is again at dummy half.
It's rugby league, simple as that.
Lomax.
No softies out there, you know.
No, I'm just thinking about the lad's well-being, Steve.
Well, he didn't come off last weekend. Maybe he wasn't too aware of it. Here's another penalty. Penalty. Big test for the Bradford side here now on their own try line.
3-0 the penalty count in St Helens' favour. They've just had 2 in a row.
James Graham wants him to kick at goal. Demanded there to James Roby. Listen, we're going for 2 points here. Jamie Foster has been handed the kicking tee.
Just going back to James Roby, Eddie, I think that Saints have a right to play him because they pay his wages. Here we see the penalty. Coming off a fast play the ball. Saints thrive on fast play the balls. One leads to another, and that's normally where the breaks come. But going back to James Roby, I think Saints do have a right. If England had played him and he'd have got injured, then Saints have a right then to criticise the RFL and say, you've took our player out of a period of time, it might be 6-8 weeks, but Saints have made that call, they've made that judgment and said he's fit and ready to go.
The important thing about James Roby was that last Monday he wasn't fit to train with his team. He's only become available to play this game as the weeks progressed and his injury has improved. He's obviously had scans to determine that it's not as serious as they first anticipated. And I think it was wise because Steve McNamara and the England side wanted every player in the squad fit and ready for training last Monday in preparation for the game against the Exiles.
Absolutely. England withdrew him and the injury has improved. He couldn't have played 48 hours ago. He can play today. Foster adds the 2 points to St Helens total. They edge ahead. It's Bradford 6, St Helens 8. And maybe James Graham insisted that they took those 2 points that were on offer because he might be just feeling the pinch from Friday night because he really put his hand up again for England.
Yeah, and it's a smart move. I mean, as I was trying to get to the point is the fact that they will tire. Points on the board is vital for them.
When you said they'll tire, they've got 2 players on their bench who've actually been good enough to play in the State of Origin competition in Australia, Josh Perry and Chris Flannery, so shouldn't have too much sympathy for St Helens. He's probably aware, James Graham, of the closeness of the games this weekend, and that's why they've gone for those 2 points.
If you're right, Phil, and Saints are prepared to play the territory game, you see another penalty.
This time going to Bradford.
Gone the other way. If Saints want to play the territory game, here we go. We'll have another look at this.
Taking the marker out by moving forward.
Moving forward.
Yep.
Taking the marker out.
It's an unusual one. You don't see that from the officials, but surely they'll kick for the touch, and they've done that.
You see that 100 times a week.
I know. It's very rare.
What's your word? Not pernickety, but something like that.
I like saying that one.
That would do. Well, Bradford are on the front foot here. They're 5 metres away from the Saints line. Diskin. It's a knock on by Andy Lynch. Diskin was weighing up the options both ways. Bradford complain. And Lynch gets a pat on the head from Jamie Langley.
Well, it's going to occur right the way through this game. Was it assisted? Dixon get a hand to it? I don't think so.
I think he stripped this.
His hands everywhere.
It's hard to say.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? When you have your arm trapped underneath the ball in the ball carrier's hand, you get it out like that, and you're going to give away penalties. Which is one of the things, of course, we've mentioned when we talk about Sam Tompkins and Wigan, when the ball and the hand of the defender is trapped.
Well, in defence of Sam Tompkins, and perhaps what Andy Lynch an option was, if he'd held the ball tighter to his body, the St Helens defender could not have got his hand out and would have been penalised for slowing down the play of the ball. So perhaps players shouldn't put their hands in there.
Well, it's rather amazing that Saints are trying to play dry weather football, and that's good defence, but offloading and turning around, running on the angle, that's something that perhaps he should just utilise when it's dry. Got away with it.
Lomax, short ball to Eastman, clattered by Crooks. Eastman saying that the tackle was unfair. Gaskell again, boot to ball, right down the middle, over the top of Gareth Rayner. This will skip dead, and it does. Going to be a lot of that, I think, tonight. They're just buying land, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got to do it, and then they realise that the forwards don't have to rush down. They can just get themselves to the 30-metre line up, which they're doing now. But with this strong win, Mick Potter, the Bulls coach, will be saying, well, If we can just keep it at this scoreline and not concede anymore, then they'd have to come out in the second half as favourites.
I've just remembered your favourite word, Steve-O. It's pedantic. Yeah. I knew it was a P. This is Diskin. Good run from dummy half. Gets the ball away. Oh, and it was coughed up there by Jeffries.
Good hit from Wilkin, though.
He tried to offload that, Jeffries, though. It was a good hit. But he thought if he offloaded, he could keep this attack going.
Bang. Look at that.
Here's Soliola. What a game this fella had for the Exiles. What a game he had for England, John Wilkin. And Saints coming forward here. With Gaskell again, he wants to get on with it quickly. Roby finds Graham. Graham then back to Lomax. Spins away from the would-be challenge of Arvan. Over the top. Oh, how did Foster keep hold of that? Well, and then he
play on.
Plays the ball in the field. It's going to be a knock-on against Bradford, this.
Well, Paul Wellens is furious. He said, come on, but play the advantage.
He's given head and feet to Bradford.
The ball went forward.
Kevin, it went forward off Carl Eastman. That was, I think, the referee's decision, Eddie. You know, in motor racing, teams put different tyres on their cars when it gets to wet conditions. It doesn't seem as though rugby players actually do that. They don't change their mindset, do they? They're just stuck in the way. They want to play, they want to entertain and move the ball around. But I think it'll take a more patient approach, particularly from Bradford. And going back to that last offload from Ben Jeffries, those sort of tactics won't win the game for the Bulls tonight. Neither will a pass like that.
No, it was a poor pass. Sibbett tried to con the referee, turned his back because he'd knocked the ball forward.
I think what Saints are trying to do is get away from the meat of the Bradford defence. There's that knock-on from Sibbett. That's about as much of a knock-on as the Kyle Eastman one was, but anyway. And I think that's what Saints are doing. Bradford are going right down the middle, right into the teeth, round the markers and first defender, and Saints are doing the opposite.
Roby with a run from the base of the scrum.
And nearly took the dummy as well. It was a good run. Got them into a good position.
Gaskell to Graham. Graham to Lomax. Goes up the middle, Lomax. And again he slides over the line, and that's going to be down, is it?
He'll go upstairs, Ian Smith. It's certainly...
Well, he's looking for an obstruction, first of all.
He just slid into it.
Well, he's not really celebrating Johnny Lomax. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but there's a suggestion of obstruction.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at first.
That seems... No, that's okay, as far as we can see. It's not too clear.
No, I don't think he's got it down.
No, I think he may have lost it. Graham.
Dixon, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, there maybe is the obstruction.
Well, Dixon stood still and didn't move anyway. You'll want to see another one of this. There's Lomax stepping through.
Well, he does obstruct Tom Burgess, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, I mean, Dixon, but to be fair, Dixon doesn't move, so this will be wiped off straight away.
Well, they're not even looking at the grounding, so that'll tell you. And I think the grounding was dodgy anyway. The difference is it's a penalty, and again he doesn't agree, Roy Simmons. It's a penalty, though, to the defence.
When you pictured Eddie, didn't you? You saw the face of Johnny Lomax, and I think he knew deep down that he'd also lost possession whilst he was sliding over the line.
The reaction from Roy Simmons to these video referee decisions, do you think he wanted a really, really quick start from his team today?
I don't particularly say. As I said, they've got Perry and Flannery on the subs bench. Two great players. That's not a problem. The biggest problem for Bradford at the moment is that they've lost possession inside their own half on 3 of the last few occasions they've had the ball.
Well, John Wilkin has got a big smile on his face, because I think he realises that he has stripped this and has got away with it. And the grin was sufficient. He's still laughing about it. Oh, there'll be plenty said if they could score here.
And they might, because here's Roby again. 24 minutes gone. Saints leading 8-6. Couple of tries disallowed rightly by the referee. Graham, what a hit that was by Elliman.
Oh, he picked him out. He would have felt that as well.
Here's Josh Perry, one of the two that Phil was talking about. Gets the ball away. That was off the knees of Lomax. The referee says play on. The crowd are on his back. The players are on his back. Here's Wilkin. Well picked up by Arvan. Very well picked up by Arvan, that.
And that kick was put through with plenty of force. Good defence by James Roby.
And now Bradford get the penalty because there was interference as Bradford tried to play the ball quickly.
I must say there's quite a few players out there from both sides having a little chat to each other. It's getting a little bit untidy, and a few of them, well, they could be giving away silly penalties. They've got to calm down somewhat.
Heath Lestrange gets it away to Elima. This is Andy Lynch. He gets Bradford over the halfway line. Lestrange again. Scampering run, first lateral, then he straightens it up. Mark Herbert fires the pass wide. It's Jeffries to Langley. Down he goes on tackle number 4. Jeffries again, short ball. Last one for Bradford here.
Plenty of height, surely.
Well, same again. This time from Jeffries. Here come the charges. Oops, there's the mistake. They have a great chance now, Bradford. No way through for Tom Burgess, is there, against all that defence? He's a strong lad, though. They hold him up, plays the ball to Lestrange. Lynch goes in for Bradford. Well, the high kicks are causing havoc for St Helens underneath their own sticks. And Andy Lynch comes up with the try. Now the captain's knocked from him. Ex-Castleford, of course, he came here following their relegation, start of 2005. Andy Lynch, so often he comes up and he plunders a try from 3, 4, 5 metres out. He's done it again here.
And this was the error. It was a high kick. Got themselves into a good position. Burgess couldn't get through. What a smart pass as well from Lestrange. Good move by the Bradford Bulls coach, Mick Potter. Started with Diskin, then brings on Lestrange, and the quick play of the ball, good pass.
But I think there's a problem for Heath Lestrange, because as we're watching the Bradford players here, there he is, he's hopping with the help from the physio off the field, and the signal has come that they have to replace him. And Diskin has immediately returned to the fray, so that could be a mighty blow for Bradford. Patrick Arvan, meanwhile, to try and add the extras, which he does, and Bradford are ahead for the first time, 12-8.
And that's a psychological blow for St Helens as well. Okay, Lestrange is off. There you can see it's absolutely pouring down.
Lee Gaskell, he's the player that misses that bomb for Saints. Gets a real clout when he misses that ball. And then Andy Lynch sees him. Maybe his marble's still rolling a little bit from the challenge. Runs right for him and scores the try.
Beautiful kick-off again from Jamie Foster. We mentioned the great restarters of this game, and Foster is rapidly becoming one of them. That was to within about a metre with a gale force wind behind him at the dead ball line.
And that's on the second occasion that you utilise that, because it's holding the ball up. It's always difficult for anyone trying to catch the wet ball. But Bradford, well, they will be lifted by the fact that they're playing into this very strong wind. Saints utilise it, is knocked on. They've got the opportunity now of the visitors, Saints.
Tom Burgess couldn't hang on to it. Just watching Heath Lestrange being carried into the dressing room.
There's fingertips in there as
there
well,
from
yeah.
Perry. But Heath Lestrange has gone straight to the dressing room for treatment on that ankle.
It's pretty difficult for the official James Child in these conditions as well, because just a little push with the fingers to disturb the ball. It's under pressure. Has it been lost? Has it knocked on? Has it been reefed away?
And the tackle technique of the players probably will be to target that ball, knowing that if you haven't got a tight grip on the ball, if you've not got it jammed against your chest, it could come loose.
6 o'clock kickoff just up the motorway at Headingley, and Leeds ahead 6-4. Here Bradford leading 12-8. Roby waiting at dummy half for the Saints. Comes down this left channel with Lomax. He gives it then to Wilkin. Wilkin is halted by Lynch on tackle number 5. So this is the last one for Saints. Lomax. Tackled with the ball in his hand. They couldn't get it away. Was it a power play? Was it a misread by young Johnny Lomax?
Well, he dipped the shoulders, certainly wanted to take on, asked the question, but I'm sure Royce Simmons would have opted to say, you know, get the likes of Wilkin in there and get the kick into the in-goal area. Just losing the plot slightly. He knows they could have been 12-0 up. Try, turn down.
Move, hold the 10.
One to the home side at the moment.
Yes, 2 tries turned down, Eastman and Lomax by the video referee, I think rightly.
Nice run there by James Donaldson, on with some fast feet. Here's Gareth Rayner again. And the Bradford getting some speed in their game here now, up on the halfway line and kicking on the front foot.
Yes, with Herbert, it's over the top of Foster. And, I think Foster's going to have to run this out. He is. Those upturned corners, famous upturned corners of this ground, coming to Bradford's rescue there.
Yeah, they don't want to lose them either. A lot of people have said that they should. Oh, that's great defence.
Referee shouts held. Well, he went down.
Well, staying the field of play, didn't he, Makinson?
Great defence from Bradford. They know that it's about close range tries tonight. The ones we've seen have been when you've had the ball near your opponent's line, and they're desperate to get it back in this sort of position.
They're going to be very careful, though, Bradford, not give away a silly penalty try. They really have got them, and that's the error. They'll play the first knock. No, he says back to 6.
Well, he's called the 0 tackle. Here's Burgess. This is a great chance for Bradford. Really is a great chance. Oh, high shot by Perry. Penalty, Bradford.
Now then, will they go for the 2 points? They are. They've elected to get the 2. I'm not so sure about that. I would have tried to have gone for the try.
Well, I think we're all pretty much agreed on a day like this, you take what you can, and the poor old cameramen are all rugged up for the weather as well. Good job that they spent a few bob on ponchos and waterproof gear. We have the easy job on a day like this, don't we? We're nice, it's beautiful and dry and warm here.
I think you might be on your own on that one.
I'm freezing, mate.
So am I.
Haven't they given you a heater? I've got a heater here.
No.
Chance here for Arvan to stretch the lead. 12-8 it is. Arvan kicks this. It's a 6-point advantage. Oh, you would not have backed that. Arvan is normally so regular in front of the post like that.
Unbelievable.
He's got an 80% success rate this year, which is good in this competition. It's good in any level of rugby, but he's just put that to the other side of it. The conditions, maybe the foot slipped, Eddie. You talk about an easy job. It's not easy goal kicking when we've seen the surface as it is.
No, exactly. And if you look very closely at this Bradford pitch, there are patches developing of standing water. I must say, though, the rain is slightly easier than it was start of the match, I think, but it's still tippling down here. 7 minutes to half-time then. Bradford 12-8 against the breeze, loses the ball there.
Well, we can expect that all the way through this game now.
I think it was
very difficult.
James Donaldson who lost that.
Really difficult for the players, and just about to make the point that Mick Potter would have said, look, drive and get the kick in again. And
James Donaldson, having dropped the ball with a little bit of frustration, he just pushes down on Perry as he gets back up to his feet. And Perry, he's no mug. He's got all the experience in the world. He went down and as if he'd been hit by Mike Tyson or somebody.
Academy Award there, definite.
Roby is waiting. That's the ball infield. Here's Perry again. Good solid defence though from Bradford. About 15 metres away, Gaskell, Lomax. Back it comes to Wellens. Wide then to Foster. Foster somehow stays in the field of play.
That was great work by the winger. Spun away. Slippy conditions. It looked as though he gone over the whitewash. Nice little kick.
Good kick from Wilkin, but will it be too strong? No, it won't.
Ooh, Herbert just got the fingertips to it very quickly.
Flannery was hunting something here.
To be fair, the kick was good, but I thought that the St. Helens players were very slow to react.
Mark Herbert waiting, as we all are, for Brett Carney to take this goal line dropout. Bill, down to you.
Cruel irony for Heath Lestrange, of course. All the news in the Bradford camp is him signing a new three-year deal. Well, we saw him carried off, and it could be a serious knee injury that he's picked up. Certainly won't be returning for the rest of this game, and there is concern that it's a knee ligament problem, and it could be a long-term injury absence for Heath Lestrange.
Oh dear, that is such cruel luck for Heath Lestrange. New 3-year deal agreed only this last week, and we've heard of a few serious knee injury problems this season that have been season-ending. Let's hope that's not the case.
That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant attacking defence. So not the injury, Eddie. The way that St Helens did that there with Roby and everyone else, great commitment from Bradford. Can they hold them out any longer?
Polatua spinning and spinning, but can't get through. Roby sees a gap, has a dash, gets the try in the corner. It's young Tommy Makinson. Tries given by James Child. Makinson, who has missed the last two, gets his third try of 2011, only his 8th appearance. Came on as a substitute against Wigan on Good Friday, scored a try, a career highlight so far. Maybe lots more to come for this young man, I think.
Certainly put himself in a good position, and they were just a little bit lax there on that left-hand side in defence. But this man is a winner, isn't he? James Roby, the man who's created it yet again. It must have been a wonderful, wonderful effort for him to say, I will play this weekend. And Royce Simmons, the coach, realised that's the second try that Roby has set up. Well finished by the youngster.
Yes, good try from young Tom Makinson, one of the list of youngsters they have at St Helens. He's 19. Foster, who is going to take the conversion here, he is 20. Gaskell and Lomax are only 20, and they've got the likes of Dixon and Armstrong on the bench who are 21. So the production line at St Helens continues clicking along and turning them out. Now then, this wind is at his back, but it's a hugely difficult kick on a night like this. And he's missed it. 12 apiece, though.
Such a dangerous player, isn't he? James Roby. Superb, he gets the advantage. Quick play the ball. You can see there's always Johnny on the spot. Let's get going. Well finished.
You know, there must be a great sense of fulfilment and achievement for the amateur coaches who work with people like Tom Makinson there on the wing. I know for almost 10 years he played at a club called Hindley St Peters, and all the gentlemen there and the ladies who volunteered in that club to give up their time when they sit down and watch him and see what he can achieve here. Must be a great feeling for them.
And it's great that you've mentioned the amateur game there, Phil. You've just reminded me that the Bala Great Britain Lions on their tour of Australia, they defeated Rockingham Coastal Sharks 32-14. They were 4-0 behind, the Sharks scoring a consolation try in the closing minutes. Their next game is on Tuesday against the North Beach Sea Eagles, the current leaders of the Western Australia Premier Division. So well done, the Bala Great Britain Lions. They're on a tour of Australia that is going well under the coaching direction of John Fieldhouse.
Come on, come on. Play the ball. 40.
What
Great
a wonderful
kick,
kick.
great
Oh,
kick.
superb there. James Roby, yet again, jumped into dummy half. Made sure that nobody defence could get anywhere near him. And a good chase as well. Flannery first to get the tackle in. They've got to try to keep them down now, but...
Move all the way, come on. That's good. Wait, go. Third, move.
Minute and a half to go to the half-time siren here. All square, 12 apiece. Oh, the ball is lost.
Was that stripped and did it go backwards?
Okay,
They'll say played. Oh, he's gone back. It was indicated that it was stripped, 1-1.
So Bradford won't be complaining.
Release. One.
Difficult, wasn't it? You could see that there was an arm involved there, and
Outside.
very, very difficult for the official. That's a great kick. He'll just beat them all.
Saints ball.
It'll eat up the clock.
It's all they want, and remember they'll turn round probably now 12 all, and with the wind at their backs in the second half.
I thought the Saints player, I don't know who it was. I thought one of you touched it and they went to Bradford.
Ben Jeffries back here. He rejoined the Bulls in May from Wakefield. And standoff in the last 4. And they've been on this pretty good run since he returned.
Well, patience is the key when you're playing in persistent rain, Eddie, and I think that's the thing that the coaches will talk about at half-time. They'll go in, I would imagine, level here. Can't see another score in the remainder of this half, but patience really and controlling that possession. We've seen the tries of score from close range when the weather's like this. It's about waiting, holding possession and doing everything you can to get as close to your opponent's try line.
Tour gets the ball away to Gaskell. This is Louis McCarthy. Scarsbrook scragged to the floor. It was good work by Whitehead, that. Here come the Saints again, though, and you wouldn't, well, you will now. I was going to say you wouldn't count against them scoring on the stroke of half-time from a movement like this, but there goes the half-time siren in the background, and 12-all it is. Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook with an early try for Saints. Carney replied, 6-all. Foster with the penalty goal, 8-6. Lynch then gave Bradford the lead, and Tommy Makinson, 4 minutes from half-time, levels things up at 12-12 as they go into the dressing rooms for, I'm sure, a change of kit and a bit of a dry off. 12-all, good contest.
Brew sponsors Super League on Sky Sports.